Are you tired of being bullied when playing Holland? Do you want to see a more stable way of forming the Netherlands in Europe and Versailles 5? You got it! Today we're forming it as a French vassal. I'll show you how to fight the independence war, enter the H3 for easier expansion, and grow a prospering economy. Let's get into it. So here we are as the county of Flanders. I decided to play this country because I did try Holland a couple of times. I had no luck because England and France were just declaring no CB wars left and right. So I've decided that it's gonna be a better idea for us to be a French subject if we want to form the Netherlands. Now, Flanders does have some unique flavor, some unique advances like this one, Flemish cloth, increasing the cloth and fine cloth output. In the Age of Renaissance, we also have the Flemish Renaissance, although it's not that great. But of course, we also have advances that are related to our culture group. So because we are in the Netherlandish group, we have advances such as polders, which unlocks a unique building for us. And of course, we will have some new ones once we do form the Netherlands. Now, let's begin with some basic research, organized religion, classic scholasticism, and stuff like that. We can pick one rival, doesn't really matter which one, I'm just gonna go with Brabant. I do wanna go for the serfdom value, which is why I will pick the court language law, because we have one law that is not yet codified. When it comes to our government reforms, we already have 30% crown power, which is pretty good, but we're gonna increase this a little bit more with autocracy. And on top of that, we're gonna go for a little bit additional serfdom with agricultural cultivation. For our privileges, we're gonna grant a couple to the nobles. Let's go with nobility-controlled serfdom. And because we're gonna be a naval-based country, noble navy is gonna be great for the naval push. Let's go with pop assimilation speed for the clerics. And on top of that, we're gonna grant efficiency of the cabinet. A couple of privileges to the burghers as well, such as building rights, reducing our buildings cost. And because we're gonna go for capital economy value, we can start picking up privileges that increase it, such as land of commerce. Now we're gonna return a little bit later to this window because we're down to 45 legitimacy, which is not very good. So once we restore this a little bit, we can grant some more privileges. Alright, now when it comes to cabinet actions, with one of the cabinet members, we're gonna push for societal values, and let's go with naval value first. We also can increase the naval value by granting admiralship to our count, which will give us another 0.10 push. And for the second cabinet action, let's go with sow disloyalty, so that we push disloyalty from the very beginning and that we don't have issues later on when it comes to forming the independence movement. Now, we don't really have much of a choice when it comes to actual cabinet members, so we're just gonna go with the guys with the highest skill level. Our heir can have better education. I do always like to go for admin education because I think it's the most important stat. And now we can go to our budget. We will be raising our minting slider to 0%. We can automate our taxes for the estates apart from the peasants estate. As we're going for serfdom, we're going to be taxing them a little bit more. Cost of the court sliders, we can increase stability, diplomatic spending, as we will need to increase relations with countries surrounding us and major countries pretty much that would support our independence. And we don't need to pay for the forts for now. So I'm just gonna quickly begin improving with countries such as Aragon, Castile, pretty much every big country in Europe. Now, for the automation, I do always like to go for trade. I just don't like to min-max this. Let's go with close and open buildings, subsidized buildings, and I do like to go for replace generals. We have 80 ducats, so we're going to be saving our money a little bit because the first building that we're going to build is Royal Court to increase the crown power and efficiency of the cabinet. We're going to need how much? 158 ducats. And this is impacted by many different good prices. Because it's so many different goods, we're not really going to try and push for reduced prices. But for example, for buildings that will require just lumber, let's say, we can build up our lumber first before building these buildings so that we can get the maximum discount of 33%. So I think this would be a good example. Like if we were to build tailor guilds, which would be pretty profitable, it would require us to have masonry. And because we don't have enough masonry in our market, the prices are a bit higher than they should be. We could reduce this by 33%. So before building these buildings, we would first build masonries, which would give us the necessary goods for the building. Oh, look at that, boys. France has given our glorious nation the province of Roman Flanders. Now, this province is very good for us because we already had a course on it, so we don't even need to core this up. We are getting full benefits from this land. Maybe it's not so bad to be under the French rule, you know, if they keep giving us provinces, we might even have to delay the independence war a little bit. So Flanders does have some unique events, such as the Brewer of Gent. Jacob von Artevelde, a wealthy merchant and brewer from Gent, emerged as a political leader during the early stages of the Hundred Years' War. His leadership briefly stabilized Flemish cities, but his growing power made him a target. In 1345, he would be murdered by a mob in Gent, accused of attempting to impose English rule too directly. We're gonna say that Jacob is right. We must protect our industry first to get additional 20 liberty desire. And now this marks the beginning of the 100 Years' War, which is going to be pretty important for us. As a French subject, we have a bunch of interactions that we can take. I think the most important two are going to be attempt defection and betray our allegiance. At least I would recommend you know what they do, because they are very situational, but they can be helpful. Betray your allegiance for 10 legitimacy allows you to just leave the war. So if, let's say, England is crushing France and they're occupying your lands, you don't want this to happen, you can pay the legitimacy and get out of there. Now, attempt defection allows you to become an English subject instead. Very situational, because I think in general it's better to be a French subject, as when you have the independence war you will be weakening France, which is a stronger country in general. And of course you border France directly, so you can take direct lands from them, which are just going to be more beneficial for you as you're going to have more control there. But let's say somehow England wins the initial war and takes these lands next to you, then you could become an English subject and you could fight the independence war against them instead and take these lands back. And this is one of the really awesome events that you will get, and it's a recurring event, which means you will get this more than once. England approaches Flanders. Now this will give you 20% of English yearly income, so we're just getting 130 ducats just like that. It's amazing. We're immediately gonna spend this money on the royal court. Now, our advisor stopped sowing disloyalty, so instead let's go for diplomatic endeavors. It's going to give us 25% bonus for improved relations. Well, actually 44%, because we also get the bonus from his ability. Actually, let's go ahead and switch our employment system as well. We can go for most profitable first, which is going to give us push towards capital economy, which is a value that we're going for anyways, as we do like to have this building cost reduction and production efficiency. Now let's begin building some masons, because we need to have masonry in our market. So we're kinda gonna spread this around. We don't want to build this just in one location, because we will have to employ 500 workers in each of these buildings. And our promotion speed right now is pretty low, because we also have pretty low stability, so it generally takes a lot of time for these buildings to get filled up if you don't have the workers already available. And there we go, Kingdom of France declared war upon England. So now we are in this war as well, but we're not gonna be doing anything. We don't want to help France, we don't want to use our levies, so we're just gonna chill and wait and see what happens. If France completely moves England out, we will just go ahead and disable our fort maintenance to save money. Now we have a little bit higher legitimacy, so let's go and grant a couple more privileges. To the peasants, we're gonna grant common and militias for levy combat efficiency. And to the burghers, a couple more privileges, such as urban development grants for passive development in all of our lands, treasury rights for innovativeness and tax efficiency. And let's go with commercial advisory council for trade capacity and capital economy push. Okay, we have a little bit of a prosperity issue in Bruges because we had an outbreak. So whenever this happens, we want to switch one of our advisors to start recovery effort instead of what he was doing already, because this is going to very quickly restore our prosperity. We have our first parliament ready. Now, we don't want to go for our capital as a parliament location because we are a decentralized country, and we will stay decentralized as we plan to have subjects of our own in the future. Because of this, we want to select whichever other location, as it will push us towards decentralization. We're going to go with the highest percentage options, such as expanded gravel road network. And we're looking to switch some laws first. So let's go for one of these agendas to get a little bit more parliament support. And for the first law, we're gonna switch our royal court customs to itinerant court. What we're looking forward to is switching our capital as early as possible. So this is gonna allow us to do that for free, and also give us a little bit of a proximity cost to land reduction. Unfortunately, this was quite severely nerfed. It used to be 10%, now it's only 2.5%, but in some situations this law is still pretty good, like in our situation. Would be awesome if we could get another 50% support, but probably we're not going to be able to get it with the current percentages that we have for the parliament agendas, but we will see. Maybe we'll get some lucky events. And there we go, this might now actually be doable. We have 17%, so let's go and pass the agendas. They're pretty decent, and this way we can switch one more law. So I'm gonna go for a different distribution of power law. I like to go for favor the ruler usually for more maximum tax and for additional crown power. Wow, this is a really good event, plus 12 stability. This helps a ton. We're already at 50 stability, which gives us a lot of estates, satisfaction equilibrium, and pop promotion speed most importantly. Alright guys, we completely crashed the masonry prices in our market, so we get a maximum discount. So we can go ahead and build up some marketplaces, because they are very cheap for us to build now. I'm gonna briefly stop investing on stability, as this will give us a little bit more money that we can invest into buildings. It's now 1342, we enter the Age of Renaissance, and we're gonna select the admin focus because we're looking forward to advances such as increased max literacy, legislative efficiency, proximity cost reduction. Especially the legislative efficiency is gonna be very relevant to us because our leader has the architectural visionary trait, which reduces legislative efficiency by 20%. So our efficiency right now is at the negative, which means we're gonna be taking more antagonism with each of our peace deals, which is not great. Alright, so we have finally maxed out on our legitimacy. This will increase our income by quite a bit, and we will be able to start spamming some buildings now. So this is gonna greatly start bumping our economy up. Another very important building for us is going to be libraries. Now, in order to build libraries, we're going to need books. So first, we're going to build scriptoriums. Scriptoriums employ clerics, and because we have a lot of clerics available, we can just build these in one location. We don't need to spread them too much. Alright, we can queue up some additional research. Maximum RGO size is going to be nice. Cultural tradition, stab investment, and scholarly treatises as early as possible is good because it allows you to go for advances like improved relations. I'm gonna start taxing the nobles just a tiny bit more so that we can squeeze out some additional money. Alright, we have another parliament, so we're going to go with the highest percentage option again, and we're switching some more laws. We also have naval support, which is always welcome because we just maxed out, so we can now push for above maximum. So we have 40 naval value already. For another law that we can now switch, let's go with a different admin system. We're gonna go with autonomous councils, which is going to give us legislative efficiency. And now with our advisor, let's push for a different value. Let's go for serfdom. We can get a maximum of 38, which is not bad. We also can pay a little bit less for diplo spending as we have improved relations to the maximum with a bunch of countries. And we can start building libraries. These are very good. More max literacy, more institution growth, pop promotion speed in your towns, always welcome. So we're gonna build them in all of our towns. And after we're done building these, we're gonna start building some hospitals as the Black Death is gonna appear in next year. Alright, so England has a truce with France until 1350. This is pretty much when we will be aiming to start our independence war because we do want to invite England into our independence movement. So yeah, we have like 5 years to build up our country. This is some awesome news. We finally have a crown member available to become an advisor, so we're going to assign him. And we haven't made any of our advisors the head of the cabinet yet because we were reserving this for a crown member, as this will give us another 25% crown power. We already have 37%. And once we promote them, this is now going to be 40%, which already gives us some really awesome bonuses, including 15% additional efficiency of the cabinet and 40% additional trade income. These are some really good prices for our hospitals. Only 118 ducats as we have masonry and glass. This is really good. So I really recommend you guys to build up the construction goods before going for buildings like that. I might just get hospitals in all of our towns, to be honest. Alright, so the Black Death has spread, and we're gonna go and move our court into hiding. In addition, we're going to segregate the infected, and this will cost us a little bit of stability. So once we have our hospitals built, we're gonna once again increase the slider. We will need to build our stability back up. Count Louis is dead, which is actually not that bad because he was not a great leader. I didn't like his traits. He was also a naive enthusiast. Well, he was kind-hearted, which is also not a very good trait, so rest in peace. And now, guys, because we have itinerant court, we get to move our capital. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Oh, yeah, our new leader is also, I guess, decentish because he's got some decent admin ability. But now, look at this. If we click on any country here in Europe, let's say Bohemia, open Holy Roman Empire panel, and we can see on the map that we are not in the HRE. Which means that if we were to take lands from HRE members, it would cost us more antagonism. And each time we attack someone from the HRE, it would also drag in the emperor if there is one currently in the empire. Now, the main problem is not the fact that we cannot join the empire because we are a vassal currently, vassals cannot join, but because we have a base amount of minus 150, and the higher tax base you have, the harder it is to join, and we are a pretty rich country with our standards, like with our size. So it's pretty much very easy to join as like a one location miner, but not really as a country of a size of Flanders. This is where itinerant court comes into clutch for us, because we have the ability to switch our capital to St. Nicholas, which is a location that is already in the empire. And because this is gonna be our new capital, we also will immediately join the empire this way. There we go, we now are in the Holy Roman Empire while still being a subject. Now let's discuss the capital location, and it will be better for me to explain using the natural harbor suitability map mode, because this clearly displays that St. Nicholas is a horrible capital. That's right. This was only for us to join the HRE. Eventually, we want to have our capital in a location such as Antwerpen because it has 0.80 harbor capacity, which is a million times better than St. Nicholas, and it's a very important stat for a naval-based country as it will spread proximity cost reduction. So we want to get as early into a war with Brabant, take Antwerpen, and move our capital over there. There are some other good locations such as Amsterdam, it has 0.75, but overall Antwerpen is the strongest one in this entire region. I actually would really like to go with our parliament to increase the naval infrastructure to continue pushing for the naval value, because if we can get this up to 50, we will unlock a super cool government reform, but this will have to wait a little bit because we're more interested in switching some laws still. Especially we need to strengthen our levies. Go for noble levies for additional levy combat efficiency. And we actually have to start thinking about the independence movement, so we're going to increase our diplomatic spending. We're gonna just slightly improve relations with the nations that we had improved with, but it decayed. Hey, look at that. German with Dutch dialect becomes our new court language. We will accept this because we had the French language up until now. And we also maxed out our serfdom, so now we can go for a different value, maybe capital economy next. Unfortunately, we are still loyal, so we might need to wait a little bit until we are able to start the independence movement. Why are we so loyal? I don't like this, man. Anyways, this doesn't stop us from doing some shenanigans like this one. Sabotage reputation, Normandy. Now Normandy is disloyal. Maybe it's gonna stay this way. We're gonna say, oh, look at that. Our loyalty is down to 53%. Now, if we send them an insult, we immediately are disloyal, which next month will allow us to start a new independence movement. There we go. Let's start. Now we need diplomats, so I'm just gonna cancel all the relation improving quickly. And we can begin inviting members to join us in our adventures. Let's go. Crown of Aragon. Also now, guys, when it comes to our economy, we can go to goods and we can see that we have very profitable RGOs that we could start building. Now the problem is that these require lumber, so the prices are not great because we don't have enough lumber in our market. So for the time being, now we're going to focus on building lumber mills. Since we don't have lumber RGOs ourselves, we can build these. These are going to employ 1,000 workers, so again, spread these out. England is going to join our movement, thank you very much. We have Castile, Hungary, Austria. So what we need now is for France to chill a little bit and not start a war. Now guys, is this a perfect setup? Probably not, because we don't have Bohemia. Unfortunately, we couldn't invite Bohemia, I think mainly because they are at the war of their own. I don't want to risk this even more. We already have 9 members and we are slightly stronger than France. Isn't this crazy? We're just slightly stronger when we have like half of Europe in a pretty massive coalition against them. But yeah, unfortunately, this war is going to cost us 20 stability. Nothing we can do about it because we would need to reduce our relations to below 100, and I feel like there isn't a way to do it because insulting them only reduces by 50 and we already did that some time ago. So we're just gonna go for it. Rally the movement. Let's go, boys. Time to fight for our independence. We also have Normandy in this moment, so now they're a breakaway state, and this also weakens France, which is good. We could have probably tried this with Brittany and Anjou maybe as well, or Burgundy, but we should be able to win this war anyways if we're careful about it. So first of all, let's go ahead and raise up our levies. We have 7,000, which is okay-ish. And we're gonna be very careful. We're gonna wait for our allies to arrive and we're going to merge our army with theirs. We do have Holland, so we're first going to merge our army with them. Now also guys, we can cancel all the relation improvement that we had until now. And we're still going to pay fully for the Diplo spending because we're gonna continue improving but with different countries. We're gonna improve with everybody here, like in North Germany, in the Dutch region, because we want these guys to have as high relations with us so that we generate lower antagonism later on once we conquer Brabant, once we conquer Holland. Actually, speaking of Brabant, look at how huge these guys are. Holy crap. Brabant might actually be a little bit of a problem. And these guys already arrived to our country, so maybe let's go for it. Maybe let's try and defend because it's only 3,000. He's running away already. Okay, we don't need to sow disloyalty. We can change societal values again. Let's continue going for capital economy. And let's try to pick off these dudes one by one. Maybe we can do some work as well, while our allies do like 90%. Okay, France so far looks like he's occupied with Normandy. We have the Dutch units joining us, so let's wait for a little bit more morale, and we're going to completely annihilate this 4,000 stack. Get out of our lands. Alright, the Austrians are on their way. Poland should also arrive. We're still waiting for England to do anything. They're just sitting here. And Iberia, in the meantime, is taking a little hit, it seems. So let's try and join our units this way. Maybe we can reach these boys and we will have Austria join us. Oh god, that's a 13,000 doom stack. Okay, we might want to avoid them. Yep, they're coming for us. They're coming for us. Get out of here, boys. Run! Oh, this is what I like to see. England is transporting most of their units. That's great. We needed that. Now I feel much more confident as we have like 15,000 protecting our stack, so we can go for some occupation, for some battles even. We have 12,000 that we can take care of because even Austria joined us for this one. That's a nice little war score. Let's try it, England. Focus the forts. Let's get that. End of the Black Death is here. We lost 252,000 pops. We have 400,000 left. This could have probably been worse, to be honest, so I'm not too sad about it. I think we did a good job of building up all hospitals. We built them in all of our towns. Oh wow, that's a big battle, and Castile is not looking great for us in this war, unfortunately. But hey, as long as they take a hit, it's still good because France loses some levies. In general, it's good for us. So Normandy is out of the war, but they're immediately being occupied by a French subject because they have the War of Normandy succession now with Brittany. That's just hilarious. Hey, as long as French subjects are occupied with each other, I'm also fine with that. You guys sort it out. Okay, we have another parliament, guys. So we're actually gonna go for some claims now. I would like to get like at least one claim. And let's see what country is gonna be best to invade. We have Hainaut. Hainaut has alliances with a bunch of medium-sized countries, which is maybe not very good for us. And Brabant, on the other hand, they only have an alliance with the Gelders. I think we're gonna go for Brabant because we also really want to get Antwerpen and have it integrated as fast as possible. So I'm just gonna make a claim on these boys. You know what? I also wouldn't mind spending 12 stability to change our maritime law to mandatory impressment because it's gonna give us some more progress towards serfdom and increase our max serfdom as a result. So it's not too bad. Alright, it's time to occupy Paris. That's gonna give us a lot of war score that's necessary for us to finish this war. And you guys need to get out of here. I will not accept that. You move out ASAP. So this is the current French situation, guys. They're down to 4,000 levies. They're crushed. Actually, you guys go and occupy something else in the meantime. We're good here. So guys, this is pretty funny. The AI formed the Netherlands before us. That's crazy. Brabant is going ham. Isn't it wild? We're gonna be the second country to form the Netherlands in this run. This is finally it. We are ready to finish the war. So this is what I'm taking. 3 provinces. We're taking just a tiny bit of money that we can take. War reparations and of course independence. We are finally done. This took a little bit longer than I thought it would. It's already 1359, which means our next claim that we made on previously Brabant is about to expire. So we will need to go into immediate next war. But now guys, the good thing is that Brabant, aka the Netherlands, they're having a little bit of an issue as they have a massive coalition and they're getting destroyed. I knew something was wrong with their expansion, like they expanded way too much. So now we're gonna reap the benefits because if we are to declare a war, they don't have any allies. We have more levies than them, so we will have the upper hand and we will take what we need, aka the Antwerpen province. Now, before we do that, we also need to take care of what we just took from France, because these locations are not going to give us any benefits as they're not our cores. We still have some control, but it's eventually going to go down to 0%, so might as well just release our subjects right now. We're not going to integrate this ourselves. I think I'm gonna split this between two subjects, so let's release Lower Artois and another subject here to the north, which we are going to grant him one province. Alright, now this is under control. Let's go ahead and start our war. Let's go ahead and raise our levies. We're gonna continue building a few more lumber mills as we still need lumber. And we're also going to continue paying for Diplo spending, because now, even though we have improved with a bunch of countries, we're going to cancel some of these where we have like 150 relations. We're going to replace these with different countries and continue improving so that we don't end up like the Netherlands in a coalition. Our subjects have a decent army as well. Come here, join me, boys. Oh, you guys are eager, already sieging them down. I'm gonna join you then instead. And this is going to be an easy battle. 22 war score from one battle. Now, after this war, we certainly will need to chill. We cannot just recklessly expand. So we're gonna continue passing some laws now. Remember, guys, we're gonna be integrating Antwerp ourselves. We're not gonna grant this to a subject, so it's gonna be pretty important for us to have additional speed of integration. And we have high relations with Bohemia, which allows us to ask for ducal rights. So we're gonna click on this one. And then we already are a duchy. Alright, we are done. We cannot unfortunately take too much. We're going to be taking 2 provinces. This is going to result in 63 antagonism. And as you can see, there are going to be a few countries in the coalition, but it's very few that I feel like they're not going to declare on us anyway. So we're going to be taking a little bit of money. We're going to be taking war reparations and these 2 provinces. And that's it. We are done. Now, we can use one of our guys to begin integrating the Antwerpen province, and we will give the second province that we took to our subject Namur. They can integrate it for us. I think right now the biggest issue is going to be that people won't like us that much. Like, France is gonna be pissed off at us. I'm not sure what's gonna be the relations with England. We have actually minus 16. We might be able to get an alliance with England in the near future. That would really be awesome. But I also would like to try and secure at least some alliances until then. So let's see what we have available. Not much. We don't have much available. I was gonna say we could ally someone like Mark, but they are being wiped out as we speak. I'm probably gonna ally Lüneburg. Like, they're not a massive country, they're not very strong, but it's at least something. Guys, we finally have an amazing economy. We're making 30 ducats monthly now, so we can build a ton of stuff. I'm gonna max out on the marketplaces. Once we're done with the marketplaces, we're gonna begin building market villages, because we can get a crap ton of these, and these recently had a big buff. They give you a lot of market access now, which makes RGOs more profitable. So also, yeah, on top of that, we're gonna get even more trade capacity, which we have increased quite significantly so far. We have 42. And actually, if we go to our market window, we can see that Bruges is quite a big market now. Now, we still need to upgrade our RGOs, and would you look at that? The prices are getting better, and they're getting better each month because we're having a sufficient supply of lumber now. So we're gonna reach the 33% discount, and we're gonna go crazy with our RGOs as they're insanely profitable right now. This is honestly a ridiculous event. Like, we can lose 7 stability and 5% support in our parliament, which we don't care about anyways, and we're gonna get 300 ducats. How crazy is that? This 300 ducats is gonna go a very long way, because we're gonna go to market villages window, and we're gonna click on mass build market village and build just a load of these. We are 30 years into the game. We're already making a balance of 40 ducats, which is great. Let's see if we can get a little bit more money from the church as well. Demand support from a candidate. Let's demand it from France. And they give us 50 ducats. I appreciate that. Let's see how the antagonism is looking like. Doesn't seem like we have too big of an issue. Like, there's like plus 10 antagonism, plus 8 in some countries, which is not that bad. We have a claim on Holland, and we're gonna go for this war right now. They have a couple of buddies, Hainaut and Loon, but these are super small countries, so we will take them out very easily. We are clearly stronger than them, so let's go. And at this point, we have 8,000 levies ready, not counting our subjects. I was thinking about separate piecing out Loon, but look at this antagonism. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's gonna be a ton of countries in the coalition, especially because we're still gonna take lands from Holland. So we're just gonna let these guys go with a little bit of money and war reparations. Oh my god, they destroyed our ship. I wasn't paying attention to that. We're gonna start building up a navy, at least a small one, to just patrol the seas around here. we do want to eventually unlock the bark ships so that we can get more maritime presence. We already have professional armies unlocked, so we're gonna unlock some stuff from this institution, and we're gonna have Renaissance shortly, but I'm not just gonna go and embrace it because paying 30 stability is a no-go for us right now. We can just wait, it's gonna spread naturally. Now guys, when it comes to the Netherlands, taking just one province from them would result in 38 antagonism. It's a coalition. I think what we're gonna do is just vassalize them because it's only 56. The coalition is pretty much the same. So I think this is gonna be more beneficial. Yes, it will take a very long time until we can integrate the subject as big as this, but I just don't want to mess with like multiple wars with them. So let's take them like this. Take war ups, and there we go. Now we have the entirety of Holland, and afterwards we can focus on the Netherlands itself, clean that up. Let's build a couple more galleys. These are like a million times better than cogs when it comes to maritime presence, because cogs give you 0.02 and galleys give you 0.08. So by having a few of these ships, we're going to be able to increase the maritime presence much more than we would be otherwise. Let's patrol the seas, North Sea and English Channel. Looking at our market situation, we have a pretty small food stockpile, so now we have the farming estates parliament going on, so we can build up our farming RGOs 33% cheaper. So we can go to the production window, click on goods, click on filter and select farming, and this way we will be able to see only our farming RGO, so we can save a lot of money. Make sure we only build those because they only cost us 22 ducats right now to expand. Alright guys, so there is one privilege that I would like to get rid of, and that is hunting permits. We don't have wild game, we don't use that, so it's just not good for us. We're losing out on noble estate satisfaction, we get progress to free subjects, which we don't want. It's pretty cheap to revoke, but the problem is 40% estate satisfaction. So before doing that, we're going to improve the loyalty of our peasants. We're gonna go for like 70%, ask them to pay less taxes, and once we have the satisfaction at 70, then we revoke that and we increase the taxes back up. Also, a decade has now passed since our independence, since we released our subjects as well, so we can start annexation. We're gonna annex a couple of our subjects. We're gonna have Namur and Holland left afterwards. Alright, embracing Renaissance is pretty cheap right now, so we're gonna go for it. And we're pretty much gonna immediately queue up Renaissance research. We're gonna go with the first one. Possible government reforms, we need to go for additional cabinet seat, crown power, and by the time we're done with these researches, we're gonna have banking ready, so then we're gonna push for some naval stuff. Docks, we're gonna unlock the bark ship. And I'm also really looking forward to this awesome 20% bonus for pop promotion speed because we are in the Netherlandish group. Oh god, how is this a thing? Our subject, Holland, is fighting the Netherlands on their own because Netherlands have a war with Loon. We could intervene now, but I think what we're gonna do instead is just declare a war of our own because we have a claim. There is a small coalition including Hansa, but we're still way stronger than these guys, so we're just gonna declare and take some stuff from them. And of course protect our subject in the meantime. Okay, pack your bags guys, get out of here. Let's go ahead and get some fishing villages now, because these are going to add us some additional harbor capacity. Since we have such a trash capital right now, it's going to be very useful. I think I'm going to wait and see once our leader dies if we can move our capital to Antwerpen. Hey, we actually have enough religious influence to request a cardinal seat now, so we're gonna go for that. Let's go for Dornick. The Pope has unfortunately rejected our request to grant us a... What? Bro, why would you do that, man? I guess we're gonna try again next year because we want to have it as it increases literacy. We unlocked a third government reform, and I'm gonna go with private council for additional 5% tax efficiency. We need a new cabinet member, so I'm gonna grant cabinet right to our heiress, and now we won't need to get this noble guy, and once we get the heiress, we also can once again promote her to become the head of the cabinet to increase our crown power. England is hovering as an alliance. Now at this point, guys, I don't want it because England is kind of messing with us. They subjugated Hainaut over here, so we kind of want to take it back from them. And what is this, man? They even own the location of Limburg. That is so weird, bro, but I don't like this, man. I'm gonna have to reject, bro. And I don't think that we can reduce this coalition that much more, so I'm actually gonna finish this war now. And instead of subjugating the Netherlands, we're just gonna take them out at once. It's gonna be a little bit more antagonism this way, but we will be able to take the title of the Netherlands and form it. So there we go. The Netherlands is no more, but just for a second because we're gonna be immediately reforming it. Boom. Now we are the Netherlands. We also inherited a tiny subject of Valkenburg over here with 1 location. That's a little freebie for us. Let's go and rival someone like Trier just because you're close. And yeah, pretty much what we're gonna do is integrate 2 provinces ourselves, and we're gonna grant Liège to Valkenburg. There's also this tiny location over here that we took, and this tiny location. We're actually above our fort limit, which is pretty wild, but we can delete some forts. I'm not against that, especially in locations that are not province capitals, like or this one over here. Guys, so I granted a couple of small locations to Holland, and I granted 1 province to Valkenburg, but I just realized that we formed the Netherlands and we kept the course. That's actually insane. We don't need to integrate the provinces that we took. I believe this only happened because we formed the Netherlands on the same month that we dissolved Brabant. I don't know. I suppose that's what happened. I wonder if we waited a month from the Netherlands then and we would no longer get these as cores. That's actually pretty wild. But yeah, our control in these lands is going to be awesome. We have 97%, 86%, 56%. This is really good. I'm actually going to take a moment to increase province control so that we restore this a little bit faster. We also just received an additional cabinet seat, so I'm going to be using that for now to stabilize our country. We still can increase our stability a little bit, so might as well. We finally increased our peasants' loyalty to 68%, so actually let's just go ahead and revoke the hunting permits now. Only 7 stability to do that. And now we can tax the peasants at the normal level. So we are now making 52 ducats monthly. And this is with max out cost of the court and stability. Okay, the second time is gonna be the charm. Give us the seat. These guys are messing with us, man. They just don't give up the cardinal seat. Do we need to improve relations with the Pope? What's happening here? Our ruler has just passed away, and now we can move our capital with itinerant court. But the problem is that we don't have Antwerpen as an option. So I'm just gonna move it to Bruges, but we're gonna have to manually move it to Antwerpen, which is gonna be a little bit costly, but we can do it. 765 ducats. Yeah, that is costly, but we're gonna move it. I'm actually not sure what determines if you can move a capital to a location or not through itinerant court. If you guys know, let me know in the comments, because I guess it might just be random. Actually, you have 2 more towns where we can build libraries, so I'm gonna make that happen. Alright guys, there we go. Time to move our capital. Gelders once in alliance. I don't think so, buddy. We border you. We want your land. And England also doesn't stop with the requests, but they built up an army. I think that I am happy to ally England so that we could take on France. Maybe let's make that work. I kinda like their current position, you know. What's crazy is that we don't have any possible cabinet members right now, so we would need to hire a courtier. That would cost us 16 legitimacy. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit and we will be able to give cabinet rights to Mary over here, which is 14 right now. Okay, we're gonna have insanely good control now that our capital is in Antwerpen. Like, look at that. In Dunkirk, we had 50%. Now the maximum is gonna be 64.9%. Here we have 63%. A lot of our locations are gonna have much higher control. And remember guys, we haven't been building any roads, we haven't built any bridges. I'm waiting for a parliament debate that will allow us to get a discount for that. The only roads that have been built so far are the ones by our estates. Alright, and Mary is 16 now, so we can grant cabinet right. Let's marry her to a noble, and we can use her as an advisor now. Also going to promote her to become the head of the cabinet. So I think that's much better than just straight up hiring a courtier. Yo, this is not right, bro. The automation is cooked. Like, why is this happening? We have trade fully automated, 100 trade capacity is automated, and it only uses 45 of that. What's happening here? I thought this was supposed to be fixed. Do we just have to manually, like, add a bunch of trades? Alright, we also now unlocked docks, so we're gonna be building this. 0.10 harbor capacity per dock. It allows us to build ships. Let's go ahead and build in Antwerpen and a couple more towns. Alright, so some big stuff is happening. We finally have expanded gravel road network, so now we're going to build a lot of roads. We also just unlocked bark ships, so we're gonna be building a ton of these as well. Because bark ships give you 0.14 maritime presence, so that's like 2 times better than traditional galleys. I'm gonna get like 10 barks. And now let's go ahead and spam a bunch of roads from Antwerpen. At the same time, I'm gonna grab a casus belli on Gelders because they don't have any allies. It's a very weak and easy target, so let's go for that. We have high relations with these guys, so before starting a war, we do need to send them an insult. So guys, we just unlocked the unique boulders building. At first glance, it seemed like we could build this in a lot of locations because you can build this in rural settlements, towns, cities, but the limiting factor is wetlands topography. You can only build it there. So we only have one location currently where we can get this building, but the situation is going to completely change once we annex Holland because all of it is in wetlands. So that's going to be a ton of these new buildings. And I want to point out how fast we are annexing Holland. We're getting 2 progress each month, and that is because Low Franconian is their primary culture. We share the same primary culture, which makes annexation super fast. And guys, we are at war with the Gelders. We just completely occupy them. I'm improving relations with all of our neighbors because we're gonna go for a massive peace deal as well. If we go to their country tab, we can see that they also have Low Franconian primary culture. So this means that if we vassalize them, the annexation would also be incredibly fast. Which is why I just want to immediately take them out and not just take scraps of their lands. Because like taking 3 provinces here would be 91 antagonism and would create a big coalition. But if we were to cancel this and make them a vassal instead, it's just barely higher antagonism and we get their entire country. So even though this is going to put us into a pretty big coalition, we are going to do it. Just beforehand, we're gonna try and improve relations with as many of these countries as we can. Wow, the antagonism is so much better right now. There's just barely a tiny coalition. Yeah, so we're grabbing a new subject, guys. And we have these amazing borders now. We actually grabbed a claim on Loon, so because I want to have a nice little thumbnail going on, I am going to declare a quick war on these guys too shortly. Oh wow, they actually managed to join the coalition before we were able to do it, but that's fine. We will remove all of these guys from the coalition. There we go. They're all tiny as hell anyways. Oh, so this is Luxembourg. I thought this was France, like they have the exact same color. This is actually East Luxembourg. Interesting, they are not a vassal of France. Anyways, yeah, just take Loon out. We're gonna core up this 1 province ourselves so we can finish the war. And I think this is a good moment for us to finish this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As you can see, we started with a French vassal and we formed a super stable Netherlands. We are nearly done with the annexation of Holland, so our direct borders are going to be much bigger. We're going to annex Gelders also pretty fast because they have the same primary culture. Now, if we were to reduce our stability investment and reduce our diplo spending, this is what our economy would look like. I think it's pretty good for 1391. And this is our control, guys. We have pretty high control in some of these locations. We have 100, we have 80, 90. Now, if we go to the maritime presence map mode, we can also see that we have very high maritime presence in the sea tiles. We have 82 in the Scheldt estuary and we have 42 nearby. We could obviously increase this even more if we pushed for a little bit higher naval value. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to pick up one of these privileges that increases. There we go. We can pick up some additional maritime presence from the burghers. Now, when it comes to our values, we have 49.61 naval value, so we just need to get a little bit more and we can get the new government reform. We are still decentralized and we're gonna stay decentralized for a while. We could use a little bit more innovativeness so that we can get more literacy. Serfdom has a decent push with 40. We have decent push with capital economy, nearly at 50. I think we're looking pretty good. And I might even continue this run depending on how well the video does. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button. Subscribe for more, share your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you next time.